Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Microsoft Expert Community Sessions. This is where we bring the best Microsoft experts to help educate you to get the most out of Microsoft technologies. Topics are going to range from administration, governance, Power Platform, Copilot, and plenty of other Microsoft goodness. We try to publish these frequently, so please make sure to sign up for our newsletters. Follow us on social to get the latest. Also, these videos will be in our resource section of ticket.ai. So my name is Paul Sutton. I'm part of the Ticket team. Also joining me is Giuliano De Luca, a man of many talents, Microsoft MVP, YouTuber, and during the day, a enterprise architect at BMW. For those who don't know, Ticket is a leading IT service management platform built for Microsoft Cloud. Today, we are focusing on Microsoft Teams and how to increase your productivity using workflows. And spending most of my career in IT service management, I do appreciate and love a good workflow. So there's a lot to discuss here today. And without further ado, I will pass over you to Giuliano.
Thank you, Paul, for having me and for inviting me to this session. I'm very glad to be here, and let's talk about a very interesting topic today, as you mentioned, which is productivity and how we can increase the productivity. So, in the specific, I'm going to show you how you can increase your productivity in Microsoft Teams by using Power Automate. Moving to the next slide, let me spend a few words about myself. I am a solutions architect and I'm a Microsoft MVP for Microsoft 365. I have been awarded 6 times in a row, and I'm very great. I'm very glad to share my knowledge with the community and to learn new things from other great professionists. As mentioned by Paul, I am a YouTuber. I started during the COVID to take care of my YouTube channel. I'm very active there. I post a lot of videos, short and long videos. So feel free to give it a try if maybe you can find something useful. My YouTube channel is aimed to IT pro developers and business users or end users. It's very for everybody. I don't want to be too much specific for developers or IT pro, but there is content which is very useful for everybody. If you want to stay in touch with me, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. You can find here all reference that you need basically to stay in touch with me. Even if you want to follow up on this session, feel free to chat with me. All right, let's move now on the topic, on the core of this session, which is, as I mentioned, the power of automation. So every day we work on stuff. This stuff could be repetitive. So I'm very used every time that I work on Microsoft Teams, that I think it's the most used tool right now on daily basis. I always repeat to myself, I'm doing this thing, okay. And I spend on doing this thing every day 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Maybe I can speed up this thing. Maybe I can avoid to repeat this thing every day, spending 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I can save my time and maybe I can save money also for my company. Then if I find the answer to this question by, okay, yeah, this is pretty simple to do. I can maybe create a workflow on Power Automate. I can maybe think about how to automate this thing. And this every time is what bring me on, put my hand on Power Automate and try to create a workflow that make my working life easier. So this is the essence of Power Automate basically, and it's aimed to all users. It doesn't matter if you are a developer, if you are an Excel guy, or if you are just a normal end user that open just some website. It's very, very easy to use, intuitive, and I'll show you in a bit how you can, just in a few clicks, how you can create a very simple workflow. It is cloud first. I think now it's pretty well known, Power Automate. It's one of the main pillar of the Power Platform, which is now out and released by Microsoft from several years. There are a lot of experts around this topic because it's pretty easy to use, and it's also easy to share knowledge and find existing solutions. Speaking about governance, it is also, of course, important to rule a new technology, and you can do it very easy in Power Automate by working on Microsoft Entra, which is now the new name of Azure Active Directory, or in the Power Platform Admin Center. There it's very easy to create your enterprise rule and policies to roll out your Power Automate service in your company. Now let's move with the next slide and let's talk about a bit more Microsoft Teams. As I mentioned before, Microsoft Teams, it's one of the most used tool on daily basis. And we are used to work in Teams by opening the chat, chatting with other colleagues, creating group chat, or working on specific channel. We are very used to write and chat with other people. Microsoft Teams, it's used a lot also from frontline workers. And what makes Microsoft Teams one of the best ecosystem right now in the business is the ability to extend it on your needs. It means that you can easily create new solution on top of Microsoft Teams, and using always the same tool, you are able to implement your line of business solutions or services. Reduce time, of course, because you don't need to switch different surfaces or open other and additional tools, but it's always there. And Microsoft Teams nowadays offer the ability to download in the Teams store apps. These apps are available for free. Other apps require a license, but it doesn't matter because there you can find an existing solution, and instead of reinventing the wheel, you can adopt an existing app or service. We spoken about apps, but there are also existing workflows. Microsoft provides out of the box, absolutely for free, existing workflows that can help you to speed up your productivity. I'll show you, and I'm going to give you a test of what I'm talking about, just on working with specific chat, for example. Just to mention one use case, which is very common, is when you need to follow up on chat in Microsoft Teams. What you can do here is from the chat, from the specific chat, you can create a new task on Planner, for example, but you can also create an existing and available workflow on a specific chat and say, I want to follow up later on that one and remind me that. So I'll show you later how you can deal with this specific use case. Now moving with the next slide, I want to talk about the designer of Power Automate, which is absolutely intuitive. You can find build blocks there. You can create new steps. You can decide your trigger, which is basically what is the starting point for your flow, for your workflow. It's very easy to use and offer a lot of pre-built solution. There are connectors there. It means that you can stay in the Microsoft field, but if you want, you can integrate external services like, for example, Salesforce, SAP, and many other. So you can work with external data outside of Microsoft 365, and this is what it makes this technology even unique. Rely on hundreds of pre-built connectors, as I mentioned, for individual tasks or large-scale systems. Enable everyone to build workflows through a no-code guided experience. Automate time-consuming manual tasks with built-in AI capabilities. This is one of the latest addition. It's very cool using a Copilot, which is basically AI. We are talking about artificial intelligence, provide in a very easy way the ability to modify an existing workflow, or by just typing a simple text, we are able to ask directly to Copilot to create a Power Automate flow that read data from a SharePoint list, for example, and generate a report or create a PDF, just to mention a use case. Now, moving with the next slide, there is an important component in Power Automate in Microsoft Teams, and this component is an app called Approvals. In the companies, we are used to work with approvals workflow. Every time when you need to ask for a holiday, when you need to get approved for business travel, you need to go on an important conference where you can make training, where you can take more knowledge and insights about specific things. There are many use cases. For every service, there is probably an approval step to make. Using this app, it's pretty easy. Using the Power Automate, create approval steps. You can digitalize and consolidate signing off workflows from client contracts to frontline worker, for example, request for shift changes and overtime, for example. Or you can easily create new requests and design multiple approvers or signers. Signers is a rule very important nowadays, because if you want to officialize a business, an important business deal, it's important to sign something, and I show you in a bit what kind of capabilities we have in Microsoft Teams powered by Approvals Power Automate. You can automate reminders for outstanding requests, for example, and many more. We have an example here on this image where you can work and deal with this app directly on a desktop device or in a mobile device. It doesn't matter, it's mobile friendly. Now, in this other slide, we have clear use case and scenario where an approval steps need a sign. This is fully embedded and integrated in approvals in Microsoft Teams in this app, and there are two providers that give the chance to sign electronically an approval step. These two providers are Adobe Sign and DocuSign. Buying a license for that, you are able to provide your electronic signature next and along your approval step. Is natively embedded with the app. It means that when you click on the button approve, you have, as you can see on this image, the prompt, in this case Adobe Sign, And you can provide, if you have your a touch screen and a pen, even it's even better. You can easily sign, and then giving your confirmation, you are able then to put your signature on the document and officialize your approval step. It's very cool. Now let's jump on my demo environment and let's see in practice a bit more what you can do when you deal with workflows on Microsoft Teams. Let me share my screen. I am now sharing my screen, and so what I would like to show you are two demos in this session. The first one is using Microsoft Teams and going on the app here on the left rail of the navigation and clicking on apps. We have here the apps catalog available. There are third-party apps that you can use. There are a lot of for free and other require a license, but here you can start exploring existing solution where you can take advantage in order to speed up your productivity. Here on the left, we can see featured categories and industries, and where I would like to put my focus is on workflows. Clicking on workflows, we are now using Power Automate, and we have then several sections. Here there is calendar, editor picks, notifications, and so on. But here on this list, you can even explore more sections like social media, for example, if you are used to make a lot of posts. If you are a marketing guy and you post a lot on Twitter or YouTube, you can explore these workflows. Or on approval, there are these three out-of-the-box approval workflows where you can start an approval when a file is added on SharePoint, for example. And then there are many other when, for example, on a file it's modified, or when you get a response in the Microsoft Forms. So clicking again on the main page, I would like to show you how easy it is to follow, for example, follow up on messages, or maybe you need to send an email that you get in a channel on a team. So let me now go on schedule a message, for example, or let's say that schedule a message in a chat. Let's say that schedule meeting, follow up on a message. This one, it's very useful. So here you can decide the name of your workflow, and we can keep it follow up on a message, for example, or you can provide another name, let's say ticket. So we have the idea that this is generated right now because I have other workflows. Now, in a few clicks, I already added this workflow. It's already available. I can use it, and it's pretty easy to use. So now let me show you in action how I can use this one. So let me change perspective and let me go with another user. I'm connected as Diego Sicilian in this case, and let me open the chat and let me start to chat with my colleague Giuliano in this case, and I can say, hi Giuliano, don't forget to send me the XXX report. All right, so let's send this message. And this is quite typical when you need to remember something. You can follow up on a specific chat. In this case, I got this message right now, and when I click on the three dots, I have now When I go on more actions, but it's already available here. I have remind me to reply or follow up on message. The one that I created is not here. We have seen a strange error, but this should not happen normally. Luckily, I already created this kind of workflow before. And what I can do here is follow up on this specific message. Now I have this panel that shows up, and this I want to get reminded tomorrow, and I can specify the specific date when I want to get reminded. I'm very used to work with this kind of workflow. It's very useful. And send the report to Diego. I can say that, for example, submit. And now this workflow is scheduled, will run tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. o'clock, and will send me across the flow app that we see here, the flow bot, and will send me a reminder, so I will get reminded, and I can follow up on this chat, and I can send the report to Diego Siciliani. This is one very straightforward use case, but there are many other workflows. As I mentioned, it's pretty in this section, editor speaks, you can see the most used workflow. There are, for example, plenty about forward emails to a channel, schedule a message. There is schedule a message in a channel, notify a chat when planner tasks change status. This is also very important. If you are a project manager or if you work with planner, and you have many buckets on this, many tasks on a plan in planner. Maybe you want to get immediately a notification when a status change on a specific task, and this helps you to speed up your productivity, to have always your head and eyes on the ball, let's say. All right, we have seen now how you can use in a very easy way existing workflows provided by Microsoft. There are many, and if you click then on Manage Workflows, you get access on the Workflows app, and here, instead of opening Power Automate, you have a very nice overview of how many workflows you have created. You can turn on or turn off your workflows. There is this other one which is very useful. For example, if you work a lot with a specific theme in Microsoft Teams, it makes sense when you are out of office, send a notification there as well. And there is an existing workflow that you can use to cover this kind of scenario. You can use this workflow and send a reminder or send a notification to a specific channel, so you can inform other colleagues that you are out of office. If I click on Show More Flows, I can see many other flows that I created with my users in Power Automate. Now, let's go on more complex scenario. Let's say that we want to cover a specific scenario. The scenario is that I want to create an approval request for my business travel. Let's say that I'm used to travel a lot in a year for many reasons. I need to go on a specific conference, for example. I need to make training. I need to join partners, and so on. There are many use cases why I need to travel, and for this case, we can create a service, a self-service with using Power Automate that empower the way how you can request to travel to your boss, to your manager. So I'm using now a specific user, which is in this case Diego Siciliani, and I'm going to open Viva Connections. Viva Connections is the app that embed your internet in Microsoft Teams. If you are not familiar with that, just to give you the context. I have Viva Connections now open. I can see my dashboard. I can see all my cards created with Viva Connections. And here I can embed and create all apps and cards that I need that are connected with my enterprise services. So it's very powerful. If I want, I can also jump directly clicking on this icon on my home site, on my SharePoint. Basically, I'm opening the SharePoint home site directly in Microsoft Teams, and I have the same dashboard here placed on the right. What I can do here is starting a new request, business travel. On this adaptive card, I have this nice image, and here I can request a travel request. So what I'm doing here is going in Microsoft Forms. As a front end, we have just a form on Microsoft Forms, but of course here you can create a more complex front end. If you want, you can develop your custom solution. I'm using here form because it's pretty easy. I need just to get some information from the end user. As a Diego, I'm now adding information here. Why I need to travel, for example, I need to join the Modern Workplace Conference. So reason for travel, I can say here training, and destination, this is Paris, France. Travel start date, I can add my date, let's say 21 February, and I should be back in 26. Then the airline, I can say best airline, just stay natural on that. Estimated airfare, let's say 550, 100, and then the hotel XXX, best hotel, let's say just best hotel, and estimated hotel 800, and now I can submit my request. Now Diego has submitted the request, and what happens here is changing perspective. Now I am the boss of Diego. I am impersonating Giuliano in this case. I have created a team for that specific service called travel request. Approvers are in this team. I can see all my all the requests coming from all users in the company. Let me just rearrange the order of this list, newer on top, and I have this new request already available here, Modern Workplace Conference, coming by and created by Diego Siciliani. Today I can see all the information that I added before. Best airline, I have the estimated airfare here, best hotel, and what I get here now is notification coming from a group chat created to cover this self-service called travel request approval. What I have here at the very last position is this new request coming from Diego Siciliani. I have Modern Workplace Conference, the reason for travel, training, destination is Paris, France. I can open this specific request by clicking on that button. I'm opening now a SharePoint list item because the information is saved and stored on a SharePoint list. And moreover, I can add comments, or I can, if I am not the manager of Diego, or if I can for the moment take care of this request, I can reassign this this specific request to another colleague, which could be potentially Nestor Wilkie if I want, and then I can send this request to my colleague. Otherwise, I can take care of this request, and I can, in that case, I can say, okay, approve it, and then I can click on the button approve. Now, this request will be elaborated, and as you can see on the same adaptive card, this is an adaptive card. The adaptive card is refreshed. I don't see another adaptive card showing up. I'm using this new capability in provided by Microsoft, where you can refresh the existing adaptive card. The content is changed. I can see that this request is approved. It is requested in this date. It's approved by me, Giuliano De Luca, and I have the approved date. I can reopen this request if I want. In the meantime, jumping on Diego Siciliani, I should see the request that is get approved. There is a normal confirmation email that this request it's approved. That's it. So this is a very simple scenario where a user requests something. This involves a boss, a manager, and the manager approve this request. So let me show you now how you can create this kind of and how you can build such solution in Power Automate. So I will not spend a lot of time on the adaptive card, but I will show you right now by opening another browser instance that I have here open. For this solution, I used a service user, and let me jump on this specific tab on my browser. I suggest to use this website, adaptivecars.io designer, and this is the place where you can create the adaptive card that you have seen before. You can change the theme here, dark, light. You can say where this adaptive card will be sent. In my case, Microsoft Teams, but could be also Viva Connections, for example, or other platform. In my case, Microsoft Teams. Here is the look and feel. This is you can emulate a desktop device, or you can change. You can set a mobile view, for example. This give you a look and feel of on the adaptive card. And down below there is the JSON, but you can drag and drop components on this adaptive card. You don't need to work really on the JSON, and at the end you will have the JSON generated by this web application. You can just copy this and use it in your Power Automate flow. Now, to cover this self-service travel request, all you need to have are three Power Automate flows. In my case, I have the first one, which is the Power Automate flow that takes care of the submission, of the request submission. I created in Microsoft Form this specific form, which is accessible by everybody. Everybody can create this, can access to this form, sorry. And in the company, of course, and they can submit and use this form to create new travel request. This flow that I'm going to open just right now is, we can see now this new designer available. Let me maximize this so it's more easy to see what I built here. So this, as a trigger, we have Microsoft Forms, of course. When there is a new submission, this Power Automate flow triggers, and then as a second step, we get the response submitted from the end users, and then finally we create a new list item in the SharePoint list because as a database, I'm using SharePoint in this scenario. So you can add all the information that you get from the form directly, and you can store it directly in the SharePoint list. All right, this is the first one, pretty easy. In the second, we can see that a new flow triggers when a new list item is added. In this case, I added a condition because I want to do something when only a new item is created. In this case, you can create a new condition, or what you can do, you can create directly the condition on the trigger. This can reduce to can avoid you to add additional steps. In this case, eventually I can avoid to add this condition, but I can go directly on this trigger and I can say that as a condition, I want to move on when the status of a list item is created or requested. In my case, requested. Okay, this is the condition that I said when the status of my list item is requested, when it's created. I want to move on, and then I send to a group chat, in this case travel request approval that I created. I send the adaptive card that I created using the designer, and then I just copied the JSON that I created in the designer, pasted this JSON here, and then I added here some dynamic parameter that comes from the list item, in this case the title. I have the reason for travel, I have display name, description, and so on, and then I have the submission. This is very important. In this case, as a action, I have approved, and when the user click here on the button, basically this adaptive card send some data. In this case, send the action, because I need to figure out what is the action of the approver, in this case approved, and then I need to figure out what kind of list item we are talking about. All right, that's it. And very important is the card type ID. You have to use this one, and then you have to reuse exactly the same ID in order to trigger another Power Automate flow when the approver click on the button approve. All right, let me go back now. Let me show you the last one, and then we are going to wrap up the session. All right, I created here this other Power Automate flow. Let me open it and let's see. So the trigger of this Power Automate flow is when someone responds to an adaptive card in Microsoft Teams. So this is the card, this is the step. You need to add here the payload of your adaptive card. So in this way you are able later to easily reuse existing parameters that comes with the submission, like action and SP list item ID. Let me zoom in a bit. And then, as I mentioned before, I have the card type ID, AC underscore travel request. I'm using exactly the same. So in this way, Power Automate Flow is able to figure out, okay, this is the adaptive card submitted from the approver for the travel request self-service. Then reusing parameter that comes with the submission, that comes directly from the step before, from the trigger, I'm able to get the current list item ID. Then I can get this list item from the SharePoint list. I'm able to figure out what about the action, if this is the approve, or if this is the rejection, or if this is the reassignment. In the case the request is approved, what I have here is this action, this step, update an adaptive card in a chat or a channel. Then I have, coming always from the trigger, I have the message ID. This is very important because with this ID, I'm able to refresh the existing card that we have seen before, and I can provide the content. I can send and inject the new adaptive card to display on the same block. And finally, I can update the SharePoint list item and I can change the status value in approved. In this case, I can say who is the approver, the comments coming from the approver, and then I can notify this to the end user. In my case, Diego Siciliani, I can say, look, your request is approved, so you can travel without any issue. All right, that's it. So let me share again now. That should open in a bit. All right, it's loading. This is very important because give me the feeling how the session is. If you enjoyed the session, if the topic was understandable, clear, and it helped me also to figure out if maybe you need to get more insights about this topic, or if we can arrange more and additional sessions in the future. Feel free to scan this QR code and in a few seconds provide your feedback. Let me present again now on Teams so I can give the stage to Paul. And thank you for having me again.
Oh, no worries. Well, awesome. And thank you very much, Giuliano. And yes, if you do get a chance, we'd love to get your feedback. So please take a chance if you can. So yeah, it's great content. I definitely found it very informative. As mentioned at the beginning, Ticket runs a series of AM365 sessions with Microsoft experts just like this. So feel free to check out the resource section, follow us on social, keep in contact. And if you do want to keep in contact with Giuliano, then he has all his contact details on that slide. And before I forget, Giuliano, if people do want to learn more about Teams and workflows and everything you've shown today, where would you recommend people to go to?
Yeah, there is the official blog provided by Microsoft about Power Platform, and it's extremely easy to get started there. And there is also a tutorial in the learning platform provided by Microsoft, where the user step by step can get more familiar with workflows. Even in Teams, you can also give it a try by yourself by opening the workflows and exploring the very easy workflow at the beginning, so you can get more familiar with this new technology. That's my suggestion.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I believe that is a wrap. So thanks, everyone. Once again, if you do have any questions, get in contact with us. We'd love to hear and get any feedback. And yeah, thanks again, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye now.
Thank you again. Bye.